Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is a quick unboxing of the Nokia 5.1 Plus along with a hands-on review. So guys, this is the box and nothing much has changed from the past Nokia phones either. This box looks exactly the same old dimensions, same placement for the name and Android One program. At the top it says Nokia, a quick review of how the phone looks. And on the sides, it once again says Nokia 5.1 Plus. On the back, we have a quick preview of how the phone looks, both the front and back, and even the side, along with some highlighting features like the 5.8-inch display with a notch, dual camera setup on the rear, advanced AI imaging, and so on. So without any further ado, let's just get on with the unboxing. Right now, HMD Global is selling this phone online exclusively on Flipkart.com and Nokia's very own web store, only in one variant priced at 11,000 rupees for 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage. It is available in three colors: glossy black, glossy white, and the midnight glossy blue. And I have the glossy blue color. So guys, on the front or the left side, we have the phone itself. I'll come back to it in a minute. Following that, we have the SIM card ejector. Next, we have some documentation. And over here, we have an old style earphones, which I'll not even remove from this cover. Next, we have the USB Type-C cable. So here is the Type-C charging cable, and this is the first phone to launch in the Indian market, I guess at 11,000 rupees, to come with a Type-C charging port. Now finally, we have the 10 watts power adapter from Nokia. So these are the specifications. There's no fast charging, but it does come with a good 10 watts power adapter and it's kind of okay. Now these are all the contents of the box and that's all we get. Now coming back to the phone, let me just remove it from this plastic wrapping. So guys, this is how the phone looks on the back and this is how the phone looks on the front. This is the midnight glossy blue color. Now let's have a quick physical overview and then check out the specs. Now this phone is a complete glass build. On the front and back, it has a 2.5D curved glass. This central frame holding everything together is made of metal. It has a nice curve to it. So when you hold the phone in your hand, everything feels kinda ergonomic. And it also has a nice paint job done to it. Now following that, on the back it is a dual camera setup with a 13 megapixel primary camera with f2.0 aperture, face detection autofocus. That's followed by a 5 megapixel camera for depth sensing, that's to take portrait shots, and that's followed by a single LED flash. Below that we have the fingerprint scanner, Nokia branding, and at the bottom we have some specifications and it also says Android One. Now on the front it has a 5.8-inch IPS display with HD+ resolution with a display notch and the new 19:9 aspect ratio. Inside the notch, it has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera with fixed focus with f2.2 aperture with 80.4-degree field of view. That's followed by earpiece and some sensors. At the bottom, it is completely plain with just Nokia branding. Now on the right side, it has a power and volume buttons made of metal which also have a nice clicky feel to them, but I wish they were slightly more elevated. Now at the top, it has a 3.5mm audio jack along with a secondary microphone for noise cancellation. At the bottom, it has a primary microphone, USB Type-C charging port, and a mono speaker grill. On the left side, it has a SIM card tray housing a nano SIM slot along with a hybrid SD card slot. So you can only use two nano SIMs or a nano SIM and an SD card on this phone. So guys, that was the physical overview. Now coming to the rest of the specifications. Under the hood, this phone sports a MediaTek Helio P60 processor with 4 Cortex A73 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz and 4 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz. It also has a Mali G72 MP3 GPU. By the way, this is the same processor we can see on Vivo V11 Pro, priced at 26,000 rupees, Realme One which is also priced at 11,000 rupees, and the Oppo F7 and F9 Pro. Now coming to the software section, this phone is running pure stock Android based on Android 8.1 Oreo, and this is part of Android One program, so it will be getting regular software updates for a pretty long time. Now powering all this is a 3060 mAh battery, and this phone has a thickness of 8.096 mm. By the way, it also comes with all the basic sensors including compass and gyroscope. So guys, now let me turn on the phone and see what we get right out of the box. By the way guys, phone feels kinda heavy. It's not super lightweight, it kinda feels heavy, and buttons on this phone are definitely better than Nokia 6.1 Plus, but I still wish they were a bit more elevated. Now design and build wise also it's pretty great, just like all the Nokia phones. It just looks and feels amazing. The glass on the front and back, that's this 2.5D curved glass, is not protruding a lot. And this entire central frame is extended beyond the display. So as long as you don't drop your phone on its face or the back, that's if you drop your phone on the sides, most of the impact will be taken by the central frame and most probably display won't crack. Now just give me a second to set everything up. By the way guys, this one is running pure stock Android, so you won't have a lot of software features. There's no face unlock either, but we can use Google's trusted face feature to use face unlock on this phone. Now I'm going to set up fingerprint. So fingerprint scanner, at least the registration process was pretty fast. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on. This is the default launcher. On the left side we have the Google Now or Google Feeds. You can swipe up for all the applications, and as you can see, there is absolutely no bloatware. By the way, it also comes with FM radio, which is a thing missing on phones with Android 1, especially from Xiaomi. Mi A2 doesn't have it, but Nokia phones, even with Android 1 program, come with FM radio. So now let's check the amount of free RAM we get right out of the box. Before that, let me just clear the RAM, and I have to go enable developer options. So guys, out of that 3 GB of RAM, we should be having somewhere around 1.5 GB of free RAM right out of the box. Now coming to the storage section, out of that 32 GB of storage, you will be getting about 22.31 GB of free space for your user apps and user data. So that's the basic information. Now this is the about page. So this phone is currently running Android 8.1.0, that's Oreo, and it still has July security patch. Now let me just turn on the Wi-Fi and see if we'll get a new update. So guys, I've just connected it to the Wi-Fi and it already got a new update, and it seems to be having some user interface enhancements, improved system stability, and September security patch. So let me just update the phone and come back to you in a minute. So guys, I've updated the phone, restarted the phone as well. Now this is the about page. So this phone is still running Android 8.1.0, that's Oreo, and it has the latest September security patch. Now this is the camera interface. Now this is for the rear camera, and you have all the toggles at the top. You can switch between the front and rear camera using the toggle over here. So there we go. Now you have the shutter button over here. Capturing speeds are kind of slow. It's probably taking HDR image. Now coming to the rest of the toggles, over here we have the toggle for flash. That's for the rear flash. Next we have a toggle for auto HDR. That's followed by a timer. Next we have the dual fee and picture-in-picture mode. So once you enable dual fee, you can take picture using the both front and rear cameras at the same time. If you want to swap these cameras, you can click over here. Next we have picture-in-picture mode. So it just puts the second camera over here. Next we can also swap it in this way. So you can take pictures using both the front and rear cameras at the same time. Let's go back to the normal mode. Next we have the toggle for beauty mode. It's off by default. Finally we have AR stickers for the rear camera. Let me just give you a quick preview for the front camera. So these are the AR stickers, and it just put these stickers on your face. You can record a video or even take a picture. So here we go. Here's a quick preview, and this is how it looks like. Now here's another sticker, and we can also put other crazy stuff like this. Now this is an emoji kind of stuff. It is still in beta. It isn't working properly, and it's the same thing we have seen on the Nokia 6.1 Plus. And finally, these are the different lighting effects, just like the iPhone 10. Now this is the interface for the front-facing camera. This is the regular mode, and now if you swipe from the left side, you get additional options like the panorama mode, live bokeh mode, that's for portrait shots. Now unlike other phones, you can actually change the amount of blur effect you want before taking a picture. Next we have the manual mode, and we get all these controls. Now this is the interface for the front facing camera. Once again we have bokeh mode, that's portrait selfies. Next we have the manual mode even for the front facing camera, and final one would be settings. Now these are the settings for the entire camera application, and we can mirror the front camera, that's there, and we also have a watermark for the camera. So it probably says Nokia 5.1 Plus. Now coming to video recording, this is the interface, and we do get the option for slow motion and time lapse. Let's go to settings. So from here we can change the resolution. This phone supports video at a maximum of 1080p. That's the maximum resolution. I don't know why, but for front camera, maximum resolution is just 720p. So we can't record video at 1080p resolution using the front camera. Now as you can see, whenever I switch to video mode, the image sensor is cropping a bit, so there might be electronic image stabilization on this phone. Now this is the interface for video recording using the front camera. And it also has time lapse for front camera. You might need it. So that was the camera interface. Now these are the sample pictures taken using the front and rear cameras. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up, so here we go. So So guys, fingerprint scanner on this phone is super fast. It's not as fast as the Vivo V9 or the V11 Pro, but it's very close, probably the second best thing out there. Now this phone doesn't have face unlock feature, but if you want to use face unlock on this phone, you can use Google's trusted face feature. So to enable that, go to settings, then select security settings, then go to smart lock. From here, enter the password and then select trusted face. Just set up, next, and you need to record your face or facial data. So this is it. Now once you're done, on the lock screen you'll see a small icon over here. That means your phone is trying to read your face. Now if it reads your face, icon changes over here and you need to swipe up to unlock the phone. It doesn't unlock automatically. So that's like a small con, and this only works in well-lit conditions. In low lighting conditions it simply doesn't work. So here's a quick test. Now I can simply swipe up to unlock. Now I'll be turning off all the lights. And surprisingly, it is even working in low lighting conditions. So guys, trusted face, surprisingly it's working well even in low lighting conditions. I really never expected it to do that. Anyway, going on next, let's test the speaker loudness. So guys, speaker on this phone is pretty loud. It is definitely sufficient for media consumption, ringtones and alarms. So you really don't have to worry about speaker loudness with this phone. Now these are the Antutu bin scores. Now coming to hands-on review, we'll start with the design and build. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, HMD Global really knows how to build amazing phones, like in terms of design and build. And the same goes with this phone as well. Now personally, I don't like glass builds because of all these smudges and we have to take extra care for the back as well. But purely from a spectator's point of view, this phone is really very well built. Now because of the smaller display and the new 19:9 aspect ratio and the notch as well, phone fits pretty comfortably in the single hand and it's mostly usable single-handedly as well, especially if you have huge hands like mine. So that's one advantage. So in terms of design and build, I really don't have any complaints, and this phone even weighs just 160 grams and it feels kinda light. Weight balance is not that great, but as this phone is pretty lightweight to begin with, it's kind of manageable. You'll definitely get used to it very quickly. Now coming to the hardware section, this phone is really not missing out on anything. I just wish it had dedicated SD card slot, and that is like the only con for this phone, especially at this price segment. Now coming to the display, yes, you get a notch design at just 11,000 rupees, but the problem is it has just HD plus resolution. For a normal user playing smaller games or regular usage, display won't be a problem, but if you like to play a lot of high-end games, especially games like PUBG, then the lack of resolution is going to be a huge problem. Now coming to the cameras, as you have seen in the sample pictures, surprisingly it is performing definitely way better than my expectations, especially for the price. Especially the front-facing camera is doing a pretty good job. Now that's not my final verdict, I've just got the phone, so I'm just talking about it based on initial impressions. Now for more information about the cameras, do check out my camera review. I'll be posting it as soon as possible. Now coming to the performance section, this phone has the Helio P60 processor. And I never imagined Nokia to give us a P60 processor in this price range. That's really nuts. P60 processor is a well-tested processor. I've used it on phones like Realme 1, Oppo F7, even on the Oppo F9 Pro. And it is a beast in terms of performance, definitely as good as the Snapdragon 660 seen in Mi A2. So in terms of performance, this is a beast and you shouldn't have any problem with it. I just wish it had 64 GB of storage or at least a dedicated SD card slot. So as of now, that's my only concern. But if you're a normal user, performance on this phone is sufficient for maybe 2 to 3 years to come. It is that powerful. Now coming to the software experience, it's pure stock Android. You don't have any options. You have very few options like the double tap to wake, and you also have a gesture to pull down the notification bar using this gesture, and that's it. You don't get a lot of software features, but as this is a part of Android 1 program, you will get monthly security updates, and this will be one of the first few phones to get Android Pie, that's 9.0, probably by the end of 2018. Now finally, coming to the battery department, yes, this phone has a smaller 3000 mAh battery and doesn't come with fast charging, but the processor used in this phone, Helio P60, is built using the 12nm architecture, so it is very power efficient, and this phone has pure stock Android with pretty good software optimization and features like those, so battery life on this phone should be pretty good as well. But don't expect too much as this phone still has a smaller battery. So on the whole, for a price of 11,000 rupees, I won't say this is the most perfect phone or the best phone for the price, but it does come with a lot of good features like a pretty fast fingerprint scanner, dual camera setup, amazing design and build, a display with a notch which is a trend these days, and it is pure stock Android and it will get updates pretty regularly. So if you can compromise a bit in terms of display resolution and the lack of a dedicated SD card slot, for a price tag of 11,000 rupees, I will definitely suggest you this phone. Now if you are a heavy user, want to play games like PUBG, and you need dual SIM phone along with a dedicated SD card slot, I would suggest you to go with phones like Asus M1 or the Realme 1. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Will you buy it at a price tag of 11,000 rupees or will you consider other phones like Realme 1 or the Asus M1? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel, and if you want me to make any specific video, tweet out to me with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.